Hey everybody, rocking with the Rock Dog, and today we are at Indian Camp, public fishing access of the Missouri Department of Conservation outside of Hannibal on Highway 61, about a half a mile to the east. There's the bluff, highway's just right up there. This place has a boat ramp to it. When I worked in Hannibal for the better part of 2 decades, this was right out of town. I used to come down here all the time right before work and pick mushrooms and sell them to the people at work when I got to work. And I'll show you what's going on down here because I'm about 30 miles from here now and I don't come down here too much. Looks like they have decided to cut down a bunch of the ash trees that were right here. We have that emerald ash borer in Missouri, and I'm thinking they're just trying to get ahead of it a little bit. Maybe plant something, but this is a real good spot right here because ash trees also, Morel mushroom mycelium grows on it. So I'll look in that a little bit later on because all that brush piled up in there is going to make that get a little bit warmer. We're still actually a little bit too early for mushrooms, but this was one of the earliest spots I knew about, and quite a few people in Hannibal know about this spot. So if you can beat them down here, you can have them right there along the road. Awesome spot. Let me show you this boat ramp before we walk on over there, because you might want to bring your boat with you and go fishing. Now you would think because we are only 4 miles from the Mississippi River, it might be 5 or 6 miles to the Mississippi on a windy old river. Not this one. It's about 40 miles to the river from here. So don't put in this boat ramp and think you're going to get to the Mississippi River anytime soon, because you got to go all the way to Louisiana to get to the Mississippi River on the Salt River. This is a river that fills the Mark Twain Lake 30 miles back the other way. Good little fishing spot right here too. You got some brush across there. Pretty good spot. Just look right over here by this huge silver maple. That's another good tree. See the elm trees right there? Silver maple. We'll see what's going on. We got the multiflora rose right here. The violets are blooming. I used to find lots and lots of mushrooms down here. They never were very big down here because people pick them too fast. So you're going to find a lot of 2 and 3 inch morel mushrooms in a place like this, close to a town of 20,000. But they're here, and over a matter of about 3 days, if nobody stumbles onto them, the new ones coming up will replace those. This isn't my normal spot anymore, so I'm not too worried about stepping on a few small ones. Get through here and show you guys what's up. But if this was my go-to spot, I wouldn't be walking through here right now. But look at the size of the silver maple here. Pretty much all these are silver maples. We've been getting a nice little rains. It's going to work out really nice. Now the river doesn't ever flood here because this is controlled by the re-regulatory dam of the Mark Twain Lake. So you're never going to see this get out of its banks right here. And that's a good thing for mushrooms on the side of this bank. We got a lot of stickers, so I can't get to them, but I'll get over there in just a second and show it to you. Most of these trees that fell down like that, these are old silver maples. Been seeing a few snakes out here in the woods in the last couple of days. That's kind of a good sign. I used to walk from here to the Highway 61 that way and then even continue on a little ways past there. Now guys, got a nice new campground right on the other side of the bridge there. I think he's got some cabins there and some places for your RV, so if you need a place to stay outside of Hannibal, go check this guy out because Hannibal's only 3 or 4 miles that way. Now, all you people that wear Gore-Tex in the woods think you're going to stay high and dry in Missouri. You will not. Do not ever buy Gore-Tex and walk through the woods in Missouri. Why? Right there. Your waterproof stuff will not be waterproof 2 days. See that? That stuff will tear right through your Gore-Tex. You got to pretty much wear Carhartt that's been sprayed with a lot of repellent if you want to stay fairly dry. That's why we don't hunt mushrooms in the morning when the dew's out anyway. But that's why right there, all these little stickers, you can, you know, if you're a fisherman and don't get out of your boat, your Gore-Tex will last forever. You give me a brand new pair of $300 Cabela's Gore-Tex stuff, 3 days, I'm soaking wet in it from the waist down. Still looks pretty, just don't work worth a shit. Here's your pro tip of the day, don't wear Gore-Tex into the woods in Missouri. This buckbrush here, that's a good spot for mushrooms to grow under. It's not stickery either too much. You can reach right in there and grab it. Look, we got some wild onions right here. Yep, it sure do smell good. Man, spring is here, people. Crawl down on this bank just a little bit. Then I'm going to pause it and walk back towards where my truck is and show you where I always find them the earliest here, because this is kind of a not as early spot as it is just 300 or 400 yards from here. Let's walk over to the road and show you what's going on over there too. That's a pretty good spot too, because see, the road's pretty high. There's a ditch there. Side of that bank's in the sun all day long. Your silver maples and the elms over there might have a good chance. Got some nice silver maples in here, don't they? Look how big, look at them. No sycamores. See the dead trees? Those are always going to be elms. No bark on them like that. Ground feels really nice and soft. I can put my heel on the ground right now and I sink in. Boy, it looked good there, didn't it? I can sink in about 2 feet or 2 inches. Don't want to go in 2 feet. I only got 18-inch boots on. Wet socks will ruin the day. Now we're going to walk on this deer trail here down around the edge so we don't smash any baby morel mushrooms over here. That's a good idea. Plus I can keep my eye on this dirt spots like this right here. I'm kind of looking for people's footprints like that too. See if anybody's been down in here looking, and I haven't seen any. And I don't see any mashed down vegetation, so we're the first ones in here. See, we're starting to get into some cottonwood trees now. See them? Them's poplar. Right there they are. There's your big poplar trees, cottonwood trees, what we call them. They can kind of come up pretty early in cottonwood areas too, because the leaves are smashed flat on the ground, see? And they're not all fluffy like silver maple tree leaves are when there's a lot of silver maple trees in one spot, because when they dry, they curl up. There's a sycamore tree leaf. Haven't seen a sycamore tree yet, but it's got to be somewhere if there's a leaf. There they are right up ahead. We got about the trifecta here. We got silver maples, cottonwood, elms everywhere. Now we got sycamore trees. About this time of year is when you're walking through, is when you start jumping up a bunch of turkeys off nests too. They're starting to stand around the opening spots on the gravel road, and they had a youth turkey hunting season. I just heard on the radio on the way here, and this cannot be true, but they killed 2,900 turkeys, the youth did, out of almost 3,000 hunters. There's no way that the percentage rate for success was that high, although we do have a lot of turkeys, but I don't think we could have like 99% success for youth hunters in the state. We'll see, but if you want to get a turkey, come on up here and get some. We got a bunch of them. All right, there's your sycamore trees. There's your silver maples. Right there's your elm tree. Let's give it a good look over right here for just a couple of minutes. We even got some little low bushes, like I said. We got a bank from the river right here. Let's walk down on it so we can look straight at it. Be able to cover more by looking at less. This spot right here is kind of open, see? Catches the sun perfectly. Also, it looks like the fisherman comes down here. See, look at there, we got his fishing spot. There's a stick pole. That would be awesome if we could just look right back there and just see a whole bunch of them. See, we're in the Missouri Department of Conservation area. Special regulations apply, but you can pick all the mushrooms you want in Missouri. Oregon, Washington, places like that. You know, you're only allowed to go into a national park a few times a year and pick mushrooms, but you can buy a permit to pick mushrooms. Not all national parks are like that, but a few of them are. We got these trees over here. This is like a straight 25-year-old batch of trees here maybe. They probably bulldozed all of them out, stopped right here, see how they're kind of in a line to the river's edge and let them grow up there and grow back. See that? That's kind of where we want to look. There's your, I forgot what them are, like a toad orchard, not an orchard, but something like that. Some kind of little flower. That'd be a good indicator we're getting closer. Look how nice that soil looks right there. Ain't that nice? One more thing I want to talk to everybody about. Everybody always says carry mesh bags. You carry mesh bags well. That probably works good like in the mountains and stuff because you don't have sticker bushes. But if you start carrying mesh bags in Missouri, what you're going to do is you're going to run up and get some things that run all your Gore-Tex clothes. That's going to get a hold of there and you're going to start pulling. It's going to mess all your mushrooms up because they pile up in the bottom of the bag that way and get wadded up. I always carry a 5-gallon bucket for a lot of reasons. The main reason is when you find a mushroom, you set the bucket there, then you go in circles around that bucket, and you do a lot better that way than just stumbling around in an area putting them in bags. Also, you can lean against a bucket and not have to get down on your knees to pick mushrooms. That's really important when there's a lot of itchweed and poison ivy, ticks and chiggers around. Number two, you can carry about 8-9 pounds of good mushrooms in a bucket if you're careful. The dirt falls off the mushrooms and goes in the bottom of the bucket pretty good. It doesn't get stuck to the mushroom. The other important reason you want to have a bucket instead of a bag is I can tell exactly how many mushrooms you have when I see you walking in the woods, driving by on the road or anything if you got a bag. You got a bucket, you can't tell anything. I might be picking up soda cans in the woods. So that's another good reason not to carry anything but a bucket. Also, I was watching some guys in Colorado on a YouTube video that did this for basically most of their money in life, and they carried laundry hampers. They'd put 3 laundry hampers together stacked on a backpack. They could carry out 70-80 pounds of mushrooms in a day if they found them without packing much weight because a laundry hamper doesn't wear much. Now I admit a lot of times in the woods we end up with Walmart sacks just because we're driving by and decided to stop in a spot because we pretty much hunt for 3 weeks straight solid all day long. So we do that too, but the best thing is by far a 5-gallon bucket. This definitely looks a little early in here. Looks like we got a big bramble patch over here of blackberries. Sometimes that works, but it's a bitch getting them out of there. See, those are blackberries. So if you need some blackberries, you know where to come get them at Indian camps. This is a good spot. See, it's going to get some. But see how they cleared this all out, and now it's kind of coming back. Sure looks good to me. There just aren't any mushrooms up yet. Before long, we'll be through with tips and just be picking them. Not too many times I've seen people right over here this early. So we're going to go look over here for sure. The other good early spot around Hannibal is down Highway 79. A lot of people hunt Highway 79 earlier. It runs right along the Mississippi. I think the river keeps it just warm enough to make that happen a little bit earlier right there. All right, out there, boy, look at that big pile of dirt right there. That might hold some heat and make the mushroom pop up. Got all this wood piled up in it that's probably building up a little bit of heat. You know, there's some varmints living in this thing. Reach my hand in there and see if I can pet him. Probably not. All right, we're going to put this on pause, head back to the truck, and I'm going to go over to where I usually find a lot of real early small ones and see if that pays off. Hold on just a second. I may screw this up, and this may be the end of it all, people. If so, rock dog out.